How's it going, sports gamers? Mike Straw here to talk about submissions in UFC 4. Now, the game's been out for about a month now, and there's still players trying to get used to the new mechanic that replaced the old quadrant-based minigame from UFC 3. And while it's been an easier system to grasp overall, there's still some areas that have people struggling. So that's what I'm here for today, to give you some tips and advice on how to make your opponents tap out, as well as helping you get out of submission holds yourself. Before we get into it though, let's take a minute to talk about SGO Insider. SGO Insider is our premium subscription service featuring exclusive news, interviews, videos, and guides. Insiders also get access to the SGO Discord, as well as get chances to check out the latest sports games before anybody else. Sign up today by visiting patreon.com/sportsgamersonline or follow the link in the description below. So, submissions. It's a crucial part of any fight and can happen in an instant. In UFC 4, they're even more important than ever. But how can you find the best success when trying to make your opponent give up, as well as avoid from tapping out yourself? Well, first off, I'm going to assume that you know there's a different minigame with chokes and joint submissions. I'm also going to assume that you know how the new system works from a basic controls level with the trigger buttons on your Xbox controller or PlayStation controller for joints, and the left stick motions for chokes. Now, to have the best chance to make your opponent submit, you need to pay close attention to what they're doing as well as the prompts on the screen. The goal is to fill up your meter before theirs, and you do this by covering their color bar with yours. The chances are pretty high that you're going to see them panic a little at the start, and this is going to be your best chance to get the job done. For joint submissions, you don't want to pull the triggers too quickly. Rather, you want to have a nice, slow, steady pace in order to match and stay on top of your opponent, and keep a nice level of stamina in the process. Just simply mirror what you see your opponent doing and you'll be in good shape. The other part of the submission game is, however, that you'll see prompts come up on the screen for punches and slams. Now, contrary to what you might think, those aren't just prompts for the players trying to escape. They're actually key to staying locked into the submission as well. While on the offensive, if you see a prompt, you'll want to quickly match it in order to block your opponent from pulling off the move. This allows you to stay in and have the best chance to finish off the submission. For chokes, the game may look different, but it functions pretty much the same way. Steadily follow your opponent's color bar and you'll be in good shape, especially when you see them panic move the meter rapidly, which a lot of players still try and do. Once you see that type of response from your opponent, you're in good shape to make them tap if you have the stamina remaining. If you have no stamina, you're not going to make anybody tap out. So trying to put somebody in a submission hold when you have maybe a quarter of your stamina left isn't going to get the job done no matter how beaten up they are. You're going to want at least half, but probably closer to 75% of your stamina left when you go into a submission hold to really have the best chance of getting the job done and making them tap out. So we've covered making your opponent tap, but what about escaping? Thanks to the new system in the game, it's a lot easier than UFC 2 or 3, but it still requires patience and quick timing. But seriously, don't let that scare you at all. It's pretty straightforward and is almost as straightforward as making your opponent tap out. To have the best chances of escaping a submission, whether it's a choke or a joint, you want to be steady. The saying often goes that slow and steady wins the race, and that's never been more true here. If you're pulling the triggers hard and fast to try and escape a joint submission, all you're doing is giving your opponent more area to cover and work with. Moving too fast can see your color fill up nearly the entirety of the bar, making it too easy to match up with for your opponent. By gently pulling the triggers back and forth, you'll keep that area smaller and make it a lot harder to stay on top of. Now, I mentioned earlier the prompts for punches and slams while making your opponent tap, and you'll want to be on top of those responses when you're trying to get out. Beating your opponent to the prompt will see you escape the holds a lot quicker and a lot easier than if you miss it completely or you manage to get blocked. For choke holds, you'll still see some prompts, but I've noticed that it's quite not as often as with joint holds. Instead, it's really all up to your movements within the circle. You'll want to rotate the left analog stick in slower, shorter turns. You don't just want to go crazy and spam spin your joystick in repetitive circle because that's just not going to get the job done against anyone, even the most novice of novice players. Just take your time and go around the circle in a back and forth motion slowly. Do things like slowly go up the right side and then back down, then back up the right side and back down again. To mix it up, just flip it and go up and down the left side over and over before switching back to the right. Again, don't spam it and frantically move because it's just not going to work. It's just going to make your color bar larger, and it's going to lead to a much quicker tap out by your fighter. So sports gamers, there's just some advice on how to not only make your opponents tap out, but get yourself out of trouble in UFC 4. If you found this helpful and you want more UFC 4 tips, leave a like on this video and let us know in the comment section below what you need help with. And as always, be sure to subscribe to Sports Gamers Online and turn on your notifications so you never miss any of our latest videos, and visit our website at sportsgamersonline.com.